So good evening, everyone, and we welcome our Honorable Mayor of City of Irvine, Ms. Farrah Khan. Thank you very much for taking time. And I would like to give a brief introduction. So she has been a councilwoman before this, and I think she was working in a pharmaceutical company in the regulatory for quite some time before that. And she's the new mayor of City of Irvine. Let's give a big hand and welcome her.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking time and joining us today. And so we look forward for your speech on our title, Local Government and Community Participation. I request everyone to keep your phone on mute and microphone on mute as well. Please keep your video on if you can. And if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask when it's appropriate, or you can put it in the chat box or hold on to your question till the end, and we can try to cover it. Okay. Thank you very much. And I'll give the floor to Ms. Khan.
Nibada Venkata, Meda irukra, Vishalakshmi irukra, Amrita irukka, Varakanda irukanga Varakan. Pannada, amma vandu pannuva.
Can you please mute? If you're not going to ask any questions, please mute your microphone. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here with everyone. And I really wish that if it was outside the pandemic, we would most likely be meeting in person. But this is the new way of life right now. So we're all in little boxes in our homes and offices, and this is how we meet. So I thank you for coming out and joining me. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about who I am and why it's so important that we have local government and how that shifts the way a community gets involved. So like was mentioned earlier, I actually am a graduate of UC Davis, worked in a biotech company as a regulatory affairs manager served in that role for about 8 years before moving to Southern California and in Irvine. And that time, it was the start of the recession. So a lot of the companies out here weren't hiring. And so I found myself, getting into small business with my husband, helping him out. And while I was doing that, got involved in local nonprofits and started working on issues like homelessness and human trafficking, and really working with a lot of the different faith communities. And then I got hired as the executive director for a local nonprofit that I worked with for about 5 years. And during that time, I got to know the community even more, kind of got to know what the issues were in the community, and found myself showing up at city council meetings, speaking up during public comments. So during public comments, I would speak up on behalf of community members or on issues. And it wasn't until 2014, I think, when I was working behind the scenes on campaigns, just volunteering my time, when I was, thinking, we need better representation in our government. We need people that represent all of us. And that wasn't available at that time in Irvine. And so, I thought about running for office. And I'll tell you, this is a story that you'll hear from a lot of people, not only from South Asia, but also from the greater Asian continent, is that when we decide to run, a lot of times we hear things like, maybe this area or this city isn't ready for so much diversity, or that your name is not popular enough to be electable. And this is one thing that I really wanted to work hard to change, because, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we look like or what our names are. What matters is what we bring to the table. How are we going to be the best qualified person to represent the community? And so, it was a very difficult run in 2016 when I first ran. There was a lot of negativity out there, and I ended up losing the campaign. But I went back in and ran again in 2018 and ended up coming first out of 12 candidates to win my seat for city council on the Irvine City Council. And then in 2020, ran for mayor and, beat our incumbent mayor. She's been in office for maybe 26 years. She's never lost an election, and ended up beating her and leading by 13,000 votes. And so, it really goes to prove that it's who you are as a person and what you do for your community members that helps you at the end of the day to succeed. And for me, it's just so important that when I look at community, I'm looking at how can we bring more people in? How do we get more people involved? And for me, one of the first things that I was hearing, especially from the South Asian community, was about cricket. You know, how they were not able to play cricket in Irvine. We didn't have a field for them. And this is something they've been asking for year after year. And so I started talking to our city staff and working on issues and in finding ways to figure this out. Like, how do we make this happen? And you know, after quite some time, a lot of meetings, a lot of going back and forth on finances, we were able to designate 2 cricket practice fields in Irvine at our local parks. And right now we have the U.S. Cricket Association that is working with our city staff right now because they want to actually build a cricket stadium in hopes of bringing cricket to the Olympics. So that's really exciting. So sometimes, you know, it's little things that lead into these amazing opportunities where our staff was unaware of what cricket was. Then we went and we watched some cricket games and got to know the community even more. And it just opened our eyes to a need in the community that was being neglected. And so that's why it's so important to have that role in local government, because we're working directly with the community, right? So you have people that are in Congress and in Senate, they're not easily accessible to a local person. But at the local level, when you look at city council, school board, water board, we're directly working with our community members on a daily basis. We're able to bring change within our communities, you know, just by having these conversations. And that's why, you know, before the pandemic, our office had opened up an internship program where we were opening it up to all high school kids. If you wanted to learn how local government works, then we were going to give you an opportunity. All we asked was, you know, where your interest was. Was it the environment? Was it on transportation? Was it on housing? And you let us know, and then we would fit you into the right type of internship program. And I'm looking forward to bringing that back, hopefully this summer. Once our COVID numbers go down and our vaccines become more available, then we'll open that up again and get kids back into the program. Because, you know, just having that inner knowledge of how things work is so important. But one of the things that we do require of our interns is that you got to come back and speak during a public comments during our city council meetings, because it's a really good experience to have, to be able to write down your notes, research a project, and come in front of the council and present what you feel is the right direction to go in. And so I'm really excited about that, and really hope that any of you that are interested would apply, because it's not, no one gets rejected. So we take everybody in. So if you have that interest, we want you there. And, you know, I also encourage a lot of people that might have an interest in law or policy or politics to really think about running for office at the local level. Like I said, we are the ones that make change happen directly. So whether it's your streets, whether it's your housing, whether it's your transportation, mobility issues, we're the ones that are making that happen to make the city run. And so we don't see a lot of our own community members when it comes to local offices. We have a few in Orange County, but definitely not to where we need to be. If you look at our population and you look at those that are elected, there's a huge disparity. So, you know, if anyone is interested and wants to learn more, I'm more than happy to have that conversation with you, to show you how it's done, and really build you up for success. And, you know, I think when I think about local politics, I think it is just crucial that you have that connection, no matter what city you live in. Like, I mean, you know, one of the questions I always ask people is, do you know who your mayor is in your city? Do you know who your council members are? Build those relationships with them. And even if you're not getting elected, there's so many commissions and committees that you can sit on. Find out what's out there. Usually in every city, you'll have a community services commission, a finance commission, a transportation commission, a senior commission. You'll have a committee that looks at children, youth, and families. There are committees that look at sports. And so if those are some of your interests, think about serving on one of those committees or commissions. And each city does it differently, but there's always an application process. There's always openings. And I highly recommend that you go out there and get more involved, because getting involved means that you have a voice in what's going on in your city. You get to do a lot more when it comes to building policy and bringing change. So depending on where you live, there's always opportunities for improvement. And a lot of times for me, I'm reaching out to people and asking them, like, what do you want in our city? What would you like to see happen? I meet with middle school and high schoolers on a quarterly basis. We have a town hall where we open it up to any middle school and high schoolers to join me and share what they want to see in the city. And a lot of times it has to do with more activities for them. Maybe they are looking for a better skate park. And it's important for us to understand what the needs of the community are, so then we can deliver those. And so just the same this morning, I had a mayor's advisory council meeting where we invited a whole bunch of people to come in and talk about arts and culture in the city, what they'd like to see more, helping small businesses. And same thing with faith committee members, like what can we do to make sure that everyone feels like they're represented? And really, when you look at local government, this is how we're different than higher government. We're very community based, we're community oriented, and our local government thrives when the community is involved. And so that's really what I want to see more out of our community members, is for them to get more involved, to get into those positions of committees and commissions, and really have their voice heard. And so I'll kind of wrap it up with that. And I think maybe if people have questions, we can answer any questions at this time. And if you want me to elaborate on anything specific, I'm more than happy to.
Thank you very much. It was nice to hear some of those openings which the high school kids can get. And so if you guys want to unmute and ask questions, that'll be nice, so that it's a good opportunity so you can approach the mayor directly and get some clarification. Who wants to go first?
Hi, so I'm Rahul, and I just had a quick question to ask you. So
Sure.
we're on like the if we're in a high school age group, and if we do like want to bring about change in our community, how would we like go about doing that? Would we talk to the like city council? Would we have to write a letter?
Yeah, one of the first things that you can do is you can email your city council or your mayor, let them know what it is that you'd like to see change, and hoping that I'm not sure which city are you in?
The city of San Dimas.
San Dimas. Okay, so I know a couple people there that are on the city council, and they're really responsive. So if you email them, most likely they will respond, wanting to know more and work with you. That's what I do in our cities. When someone reaches out, and we had one middle schooler that reached out and said that he was very interested in community gardens. And so I reached out to him and said, what would you like to see happen? And he said, I want to see more community gardens, not only in our schools, but in the city as well. So we did a town hall, and I brought one of our master gardeners from the city to join us and share what was possible. And I'll share with you, within the 6 months, he's gotten 2 community gardens started at his middle school. And now we're looking at one of our parks to see if we can't dedicate a community garden for him and his friends to come and work on. So the opportunities are always there. All it takes is for you to reach out and make that happen.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Vishali, looks like you have a question. No? You're muted still.
I have a question, but I don't know how to word it. I'll come later.
Okay. Okay, no worries. Yeah. I could see your facial expression that you have a question, but you are thinking about it. So, okay, that's fine. No worries. Anybody else? Medha, Kavin?
I actually do have a question. So if we want to get like a little bit more involved with our community, like how do we do that?
So tell me something that you're interested in. What is it that you would like to get involved in?
Like maybe like right now there's a lot of people without food, like maybe helping them with that.
Mhm. So if you wanted to get involved in like a food drive, I would reach out to food banks that might be in your city or in your county, and ask if you can get involved in hosting a food drive. We did that in our city, and what we did was we reached out to so many different food banks and just asked them like who was interested in coming out and helping us, and then we reached out to the community to gather volunteers, and we held almost one food drive a month during the pandemic. And again, it just takes one person to come up with the idea and to get the ball rolling. So what city are you in?
I'm in Aliso Viejo.
Oh, Lisa. Okay, so I know the mayor there, Tiffany Ackley. She's a good friend of mine. And if you want, I'll be more than happy to connect you with her. And she's someone that's very actively involved and would be more than happy to work with you to find a way to get more involved.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, put your email in the chat and I'll copy it down.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else has a question or a comment? Any clarification that you would like to hear? Yes, go ahead, Vishali.
So I really enjoy science, and I really enjoy gardening and composting. So at our school, we recently started like a composting program, but we really don't have the like area and space, and but we do, but we it's connected to the city's it's like the city's property area, but like we don't know how to work it. Like, do we have to contact the council people or
Yeah.
and we were going to start an island and like a gardening area, but we don't know where to like start it off with. But we bought like a couple of composting bins, and like we've started off, but we need a couple more like I think it's like a couple of like minor things to start it along. I think we need like some permission from the city's from the city to like there's like an island we have to like take down. So where would we ask that?
So is it you're doing this on your school property, but it's also city property?
Well, like there's like a couple of islands on our school campus, and there's like some extra area there, but we would like to ask the city if we could use that for along with our school because it's near our school. So yeah.
Yeah, then I would just reach out to most likely Public Works. You could reach out to any of the council members. Which city are you in?
Irvine.
Oh, Irvine. Okay, well, I'll help you with that. Don't worry. So just let me know. What I'll do is I'll put my email in the chat, and just shoot me an email letting me know, just reminding me what you need, which school it is, and what area you're looking at, and I'll reach out to our Public Works staff and have them take a look at it and see what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anyone else has any?
Venkat, I have some questions and suggestions or to Ms. Farrah Khan. Hi. First of all, thanks a lot to taking your time and spending with us on the evening and giving a lot of encouragement and confidence to the next generation kids. We really appreciate that from the SoCal Tamil Organization. As you know, like we the people here, most of the people are from the South Asian descent, and we run a Tamil school here, or we run a language school in Irvine, and we have 200 plus kids, and a lot of our parents come from India and spend time with us in the summers and all. As a like a South Asian person from that origin, I mean, like, and you're also from the same origin. So the question is how the city can help us to help us in a language school or helping the people of the next generation and the older generation to gel with this the city like Irvine or any other city in Southern California. How the city can help us in the overall, so that we can go to the next level and we can mingle with like any of the races, and and that will be good for everybody in the as a whole. That's a kind of a question, and probably we are maybe somewhere we are lacking, or we try to understand that. That's a question to you.
Absolutely. So I know there was someone that I connected with some of our school board members in bringing the Tamil language into the schools as an opportunity for the kids. And again, that's very different because the city doesn't oversee any of the school work. The elected school board members do. So I know, I can't remember who I connected, but I recently connected someone on the Tamil language program with our school board member. And I think they're going to have those discussions to figure out if that's an opportunity that's available. But at the same time, I think, for us, it's very important for us to know exactly what your needs are. If you feel that there is a large enough community that needs support, then we want to know about it. And we will be more than happy to help out in any way.
Yeah. I think what you gave a good options, to be in the part of the committees. And as you mentioned, the SoCal Tamil Kalvi, the Vice President Sampath is interacting with you, and I know that you are helping us all the way. Thanks for that. And probably, as you said, I'm going to check with my guys to whoever is interested to be the part of the committees, so that we can contribute, and it's kind of a win-win opportunity for the organization and for the city also. So I'm thinking in that way. Probably, if you think something is, if it is apt for us to get into that, yes, we can. As a South Asian, people who always migrate and contribute, and always we win the people's hearts. That's how we do that. We are ready to do that again, I think.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, there's so many committees here. If you are interested, please let me know.
Sure. So I'll check with you probably after this, or we'll send an email to you, so that a few of our friends can be in the part of the committees, and you can contribute to the growth of the city, and we also grow ourselves in the ladder, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for kids like for us who is coming from a South Asian descent, and who is going to this kind of language classes, you already mentioned that. Probably for these people to come into the kind of a city committees, or for the kids, I'm just asking for the kids. So where they can be part of themselves. Can you give some inputs for them so that they can contribute?
So on the city side, for the kids, we have a middle school and high school youth action team. And so that's city run. And so they work on a wide variety of projects, whether it's with senior citizens, whether it's, just gardening, or doing things throughout the city. So they are really a great group for kids to get involved in. And there are two different groups. There's one for middle school and one for high school kids. It's called the YAT, it's Youth Action Team. And I think that's the best place for our kids to get started. Secondly, there's, I think the CERT program is starting a youth high school CERT program as well. I recommend that highly. And at the same time, there's a teen Irvine Police Academy that they run for youth and teens. I would highly recommend kids to join that as well. If you look at our police department, they're always trying to hire more diverse officers. And, we want to make sure if there's someone out there that's interested in going in that field, that they connect with IPD as well. Not only do you get to go through the teen academy, but then there's opportunities to join as an explorer. They basically get a uniform and they work under the police department on different projects. So it's a good opportunity. A lot of our explorers get directly hired by the PD as well.
Oh, nice. That's good to know. I think that's a great input for our kids probably, and really I'll give that to Venkat actually to go over on this. Thank you again, Ms. Farrah.
Sure.
Mayor, this is Bala again.
Yes.
So actually, I included Nachi, our SoCal president, in that list what I sent you earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is already added in the list you requested. So, and also, if you want any other more information, please let us know.
Perfect. I'll make sure that you're included.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Balaji.
Mayor Khan, I kind of have a question. So like this time there's obviously a pandemic going on, so it's a lot harder to actually go outside and volunteer and like organize physical things to like bring change in the community, what would you recommend as like the best possible like substitute for that physical interaction that we can't really do?
I think, what I've seen happen in the community, and they've done it pretty good, whether there's two kinds. There's in person, where it's been very limited to small groups, of course, masked up, but people have done food drives, so not food distribution, but drives collecting food to donate to our food banks. But one of the fun things that people have been able to do kind of in their homes is really looking out for our seniors. So we had this plan where many of our seniors seem to be isolated in their homes and feeling very lonely. So we did a card drive. So we asked everyone to create their own cards, draw them out, and write messages for our seniors, letting them know that we were thinking about them. And then we collected all the cards, and then through our Meals on Wheels program, made sure that every time a delivery went out, it went out with a card from a community member. And the seniors just love that. We're not doing it right now, and it's been a while. So if that's something that you want to start up and continue, I think it's about 300 cards that we need. But we'd be more than happy to have you get involved and do that. And, other than that, we've had a lot of youth groups that volunteer to help our seniors become more technology acclimated. So we had Zoom meetings where kids would come up with their, smartphones and kind of teach the seniors how to download apps and activities that they could do on their own. So that's, a lot of fun efforts there. A lot of it is focused towards the seniors because we really feel that they've been isolated the most. But other than that, I think it's just as creative as you want to be. If you can come up with a project or an idea, we're more than happy to support it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. I think there's someone that has their hand up. It's 802.
Yeah. Hello, Mayor. I'm Anu. I just wanted to share something that that I've done before. I moved to US a couple of years ago from New Zealand, and in New Zealand, I was totally new there also again. So the first thing that came to my mind to do with my time was to volunteer somewhere. And I came across this website called Volunteer Wellington. I've actually shared the link of that website now here. Basically, what they do is there are so many different types of volunteering that is actually like so many people need our help. But the first thing or the first problem is for us to come up with an idea saying that, yes, I really want to volunteer for this organization or for this cause. So this is a site like as a sample. It lists out everything. What are the different areas in which a person could volunteer? Like it comes both from individuals and from corporates and from governments also. So they have designed the website in a very beautiful way so that they can connect people from different sources. This is just as a suggestion that I have posted that link here.
Yeah.
So it can come up with so many ideas, like starting from volunteering in a library to a blood donation camp, or if a person is interested in doing a 3-month project on something that they have learned before, or getting connected with gardeners or anything of that sort. So it would be really nice if our city could come up with something like this so that it can connect people with various different options.
That's a great idea. I love it. I'm going to share a link that we have with the city. And I think that's it right there.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
And so they also list a wide variety of opportunities for you, whether it's doing something out in nature, whether it's through, community work. There's all sorts of stuff that you can look up and see how to volunteer. And then also with OneOC, there's a county-wide link on our website. So it matches you with volunteer opportunities. So you might want to look into both of those, and I'll check out this one as well and see if we can't improve ours.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Tirthana, I think you had a question.
Yeah. Hi, Mayor. My name is Tirtha, and I was just wondering that where you decided that you wanted to take the career path you're in now, and how and when did you start on it? acting on it?
I think, you know, for me, it started around 2014-ish is when I decided that I wanted to run for office. Before that, I worked like behind the scenes. So on different campaigns, I would make phone calls, or I would drop off literature at the door, and things like that. And that's something that I enjoyed doing. But it wasn't until about 2014 when I felt that there was a lot of pushback for people like me to come into office. And so that was the driving force of kind of, you know, proving people wrong, and at the same time opening the door for our next generation to feel confident in knowing that they can do anything they want. They can go into politics, they can go into any field with confidence, because it's all open and available for you. So I would say about 2014, and then like I said, you know, 2016 was the first time I ran, didn't give up, did it again in 2018, and continued.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else has an additional question or comment?
Were there? I have a question. My
Yeah,
name
please.
is Saravana Hassan. So I was wondering, were there any barriers towards you running for office in as mayor/council?
Yeah, you know, it's quite unique. It Campaigning is one of the hardest things I think I've ever done in my life. You know, when you start, or when you decide that you maybe want to run, there's so many different things that you have to line up. You have to line up other people that are in office who might support you, endorse you. You have to get to know people within the party system. You have to get to know people that are in the activist world, because they're the ones that are going to be supporting you or not supporting you. And then when you do run, there's different components. So one is your outreach to the community to let them know who you are. Then there's fundraising, because you have to pay for not only your consultants, but someone that's going to keep track of your money. Then you have to pay for the material that goes out in the mail or to people's doorsteps. You know, you have to pay for programs that get you the data you need on the voter registrations. So, you know, for a city like ours in Irvine, we have about 282,000 people, and you can't reach everyone. So you have to be very strategic about who you're going to contact. And a lot of it has to do with just data crunching those numbers, like who votes all the time. You definitely want to reach out to that person because they're going to be voting every time. And then you want to reach out to maybe different communities with different in language materials, or make phone calls to certain people, maybe get volunteers from different community members to make phone calls to those groups. So it's quite the process, but I think the hardest part is when you have people that are naysayers, right? That say that you can't do this, you're not going to succeed. And that happens in every campaign. It happens with a lot of people. And we just have to fight through it. It's a horrible thing to go through during a campaign, and maybe it'll change in the future, but right now it's still a struggle. Like I share with people, you know, I share this with a lot of people, and I say, you know, you can get a man, you know, general white man putting on a suit standing next to a flag, and everyone will say he looks presidential, right? But then for us, we do a lot of the work, we put in the effort, but no one is calling us presidential, and that needs to change. And so a lot of the hurdles that we have to go over is constantly proving ourselves that we're worth the office that we're seeking. And that comes from just the amount of work that you put in and the amount of deliverables you have. In my first 2 years on the council, you know, I was able to introduce and pass a climate action plan. I was able to introduce and pass community choice energy, which we are rolling out. We started rolling this out in December, which is really breaking apart from Southern California Edison and being able to, you know, procure our own energy. So we work with them on the I guess the logistics side and the generation side, but we get to pick how much renewable energy we want in our city. And then our individual households will be able to get to pick where their energy comes from. And that's a pretty bold move. It's never been done in Orange County. And I was the first person to get it going. And right now we have 5 cities that are joining that movement. So that's huge. And so when people see you making progress, they become more susceptible to you running and the changes that you're going to bring. But the first run is always the hardest because you're proving yourself to so many people, and there's so many people that are hoping that you don't succeed. So it's quite a battle.
Anybody else? So I have a question, Mayor. So when you have these kind of downsides when you're working, like, it's not always you start doing something and you turn successful, whether it's going to be a council election or doing even a small work once you become a councilwoman. So what keeps you motivated, or how do you motivate yourself to move to the next level or keep your positive energy? If you can share that, that'll be nice.
Sure. It's the little things, I think, that really keep me motivated, knowing that if someone reaches out to me via email and says, hey, I need help, maybe they're trying to do some construction on their home and it's been delayed, they don't know what's going on, and I can connect them with the right people and take away that delay and make it happen. That makes the whole world of a difference more than some of the bigger projects. It's understanding that you can change someone's lives with just one phone call. Help people get to where they need to be. We had a senior couple in Irvine that were on the Meals on Wheels program, and they were vegetarian and vegan. And so they were talking about how the meals that were coming through our general kitchen were not the kind of meals that they wanted. So we actually worked out with a restaurant to see if we couldn't get them the kind of meals that they wanted to eat that were, not just beans and rice, because, that's not who we are. So I actually started working with a lot of nonprofits to find out how do we get our local restaurants to help make the meals that are acceptable for our community seniors. So whether they're, Chinese, Korean, Indian, their meals need to be what they are used to having. We can't convert them and say, you know what, you're going to have tacos and beans today. That's not going to happen. So it's our job to make sure that we bring those changes in. And those little changes make a huge difference in someone's life. And I think that's what keeps me going, because that seems like I'm winning every day. So even though I might lose in the bigger project, I feel like on a daily basis, these little wins make a difference.
Thank you very much.
May I have one question?
Yes.
Yeah, basically, you mentioned city kids participating in city activities and things like that. Is there any program or opportunity in the city council or activities or governance for kids to participate in city council activities, so they understand the process? That's kind of opens up a door for them as a future leaders.
Yeah, I think it was 2019 when we, for the first time, had what was it? It was like a youth government day where we opened up our doors to a lot of our youth, and they had a whole day of, they went from one department to another, kind of learning how the inner workings of a city were, learning how we monitor traffic in our city. A little bit time was spent with our police department. And then they also went into the planning department to look at all the planning material that were there and how our city is going to be progressing. And I think, outside of COVID, we'd love to bring that program back and make those opportunities available. A lot of things that we were really working on, trying to get moving on. One of the things I was working with our city manager was on youth, young women in government. So we wanted to get our girls involved as well. And everything kind of came to a halt because of the pandemic. So hopefully once all of this is over, we'll roll back those programs and get it going again.
Thank you. And if it is for other cities, how do we reach out? Do we have to reach out to city office or?
Yeah, I would reach out to the city council, the mayor there, and just say, there's an interest in having our youth getting involved in government and learning how it works. And ask them to set up a program. That's how we actually got started on the Government Day program. Is a group of moms reached out and they said, we want an opportunity for our kids. And so we said, okay, let's look at this and see what other cities have been doing. And then we developed a day program and invited our youth in.
Thank you.
Anybody else has any question? Next question, please. No? Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to ask Mayor Khan? No?
Yeah, if like we were trying to run for a student president at our school, how would be like the best way to go like about your campaign if you wanted to like get people to vote for you versus your opponent? Like I think that could kind of be related to the campaign you had for.
Yeah, I think school campaigns are brutal too, aren't they? But what I would suggest is, find 2 to 3 things that you can stand on that you can deliver, right? So find out what the needs are in your school, what your student population is interested in, and see if those are things that you can deliver and campaign on those things. But at the end of the day, once you get elected, make sure you deliver it, because people are going to remember if you don't fulfill your promises. And one way to really outdo your opponent is, a lot of times opponents tend to get negative. Never go negative. I've never gone negative in my campaigning. If anything, I've just proven to people what I stand for. And so just be as positive as you can, share ideas that you know that you're going to be able to deliver, and be creative. I think it's so important just to be out there and again, starting off, get to know your student body. You got to know what they want, what their interests are, because then you can then find ways to deliver on some of the things that they really want to see in their schools.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question, if anybody has. No? So is there anything else, Mayor, you would like to share with the children's, and any word of suggestion for building their leadership skill? Any one thing that they should keep in mind?
I think one of the things to keep in mind is never limit yourself, right? As you're growing older, your lives are going to change, your opportunities are going to change. Just be as fluid as you can be. Be open to change, and never fear that you won't succeed in something, because you have to try. If you don't try, you'll never know. And that's the saddest thing that you can do. I always tell them, even my kids, I have 2 boys that are 16 and 19, and I tell them the same thing. I'm like, you got to try things out. If you fail, you fail, but at least you'll know then. And then you continue to try. And for you guys in leadership is find your passion, something that you really care about, and find ways to get involved there. And you'll see your paths open. I think that's one of the best ways to really find that leadership opportunity, is to do what you're passionate about. And I think that'll really be a path towards your success.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate. So if there are any other questions, it's a good time to ask. If not, we probably will wrap up the session.
One question, Mayor, and now you are the mayor of the big, wonderful city. What is next for you?
For me, it hasn't even been 2 months as mayor, so I'm sticking here for a while.
Is it possible you can go to state level? Or national politics?
The possibilities are there. I think for me right now, I definitely want to fulfill my 2 years as mayor, and maybe rerun for mayor for an additional 2 years, and then think about what's next. But then again, you never know, because when I got elected on council, I was thinking I was going to serve 4 years on the council and then run for council again, and things changed, and the opportunity arose, and so ended up running for mayor for 2 years. So don't really know, but we'll see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Khan. We really appreciate taking time and speaking with the children and answering the questions. we wish you all the best in your position as a mayor, and all the best for your future endeavors as well. And she has given you the email ID, kids. So please, if you have any questions that you wanted to ask her, and if you were not able to, please feel free to reach out to her and check on that. But make sure that it's a genuine question. That's it. Okay.
Absolutely. And you know, I encourage any of you that if you want to reach out, please do. And then I'm also going to put on here my social media link. That's for Facebook and Instagram. If you guys want to reach out there, follow what's going on, please do as well. So I try to make myself as accessible as possible. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Have a good evening.
All right. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Bye. Thank you all for being here today. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.